I've always dreamed of being the man that my future wife can look at and say, that's my husband. We've been through so much together, so many ups and downs, but every single time there's a down, we work together to fight through it. But that's not what the internet wants you to say. The internet wants you to be the man who doesn't have any problems with his wife. Because if there was a problem, you would have so many other options that you're the one who sets the rules. And if she doesn't follow and submit to you like a good little feminine girl, she's been corrupted by society, who will cheat on you with any other man just a little bit stronger the minute you show an ounce of vulnerability. Bro, what the fuck? These are literally the thoughts that would run through my head for so long. And that's because all I was doing every day was scrolling through these alpha red pill videos telling me that the woman that I'm with will leave me any minute that she smells a sense of weakness. And I believed it so much because it happened to me. I was that weak guy who got cheated on. Alright, so you guys already know the story of this first girl, the first video we did, the one that opened my eyes to masculine, feminine energy, to all self-improvement things. This girl that I loved left. I'm already depressed. I genuinely just want to end my life. You know the story. When everything was going amazingly, I thought I found the love of my life until one day she sent me this long text telling me that things weren't good and she was anxious about how fast we were moving the relationship, and I backed away and I promised, oh, it's okay. And for the first time in my life, I ever felt anxiety. And she would always go to the club with her friends that she worked with, and I had no problem with it. Until this one day, I had a problem with it. She told me she was at a sports bar at night, and for 15 hours I stayed up and I couldn't sleep. In fact, I was shaking in my bed and all I could think of was Tyrone, Brad, Chad, and Diesel fucking her from every corner. And I never told her these things because although I didn't know that much about women, I always learned that you can't tell them how you feel, truly. That you can't open up about things that you're insecure about, things that you're vulnerable about. But one day I couldn't take it and I told her, like, hey baby, I'm just starting to feel a little bit anxious. And you know what? There's nothing on you to cure that. I just want to let you know it means a lot to me when you text me that you miss me or that you let me know that you're going out at night. And it scared the fuck out of me. When she looked me dead in the eye, she said, you know, I totally understand. Thank you so much for bringing this up. It takes a real man to bring something up like this. And I said, so you don't think I'm weak? I understand that other men probably don't have these problems. Other men wouldn't even be this insecure that I'm being. And she said, if we are supposed to be together, I will treat you better. Things went great. For like half a fucking day until next week, she stopped texting me, she ghosted me completely, and the next time I see her on Instagram after she unblocked me, she's with another guy on the vacation that we planned together. Like, bro, this absolute fucking demon arc shit, man. As much as I laugh about it now and look back on that experience with probably the most loving woman in my life, my current girlfriend, about to go on a trip with her to Hawaii, knowing that someone who is feminine and secure, and I can look back and laugh, but at the time, it brought me so much fucking pain. And this is where today's story comes in. So my current girlfriend, I met her after my whole self-improvement journey. When I fixed my depression, I learned what it was to take responsibility, discipline, accountability as a man, and build yourself into a confident, strong person. And I met her at truly the best time of my life. It was the most successful my career has ever been. My mental health was better than it's ever been in my life, and I just had so much love to give everything in my life. But I still had little moments of insecurities, negative thoughts that I had to play a game with her, and I would always push them away when I woke up in the morning and I opened up that gratitude journal and I wrote down all these thoughts I had, and it all came back logically and clear to me that this was just part of life. Until I went on the whole journey to quit my addiction to drugs, to nicotine. Every bad insecurity I ever had came back up so much worse. So I took one of the biggest challenges of my life and I went long distance with my girlfriend because she's from France and she wanted to go back for the summer, and I spent, so far it's been 108 out of 111 days apart. This is something that if you ask younger me, fuck no, I'd never do that. If a girl doesn't stay for you, she doesn't love you enough. Long distance is just an excuse to go cheat on you. But I took this as a challenge, and she was the type of woman that I was happy to do it with. Of course, we had our ups and downs. We had the moments where we missed each other a little bit more, and we had to cope with doing things like more exercise or fighting off more addictions, but we made it work. And then I quit the nicotine. And for a whole month, every negative thought I used to have came back 10 times stronger. She just landed on this beautiful little island with a lot of her friends, and some of them were guys. I learned from everybody on the internet about male and female attraction that also as a man, why would I ever want to be friends with a woman? I wouldn't be friends with a woman. All these guys are there with the intention to fuck her. And not only that, I'm acting more emotional and weak than I've ever been. I'm quitting this drug and I'm feeling like I'm not the man that I was when I met her. Because the man that met her would take her on these dates every single week. I would show her that it's okay to be comfortable around me, to let out her emotion as a woman, to feel safe. When she was kind and loving, she was rewarded by my affection, my time. And now, I'm the guy that 2 days ago she saw with tears flowing down his eyes because it was so painful to not have this little drug in his system. Because he was sharing these intimate stories of how these male figures in his life used to abuse him. Well, of course, no woman wants to be with a guy like that. A woman wants to be with a strong, capable man. With the guys like Andrew Tate. The guys that only give them the time that they can spare out of their day for sex. The guys that lead. The guys that never depend on them for emotional intimacy. And I was becoming the opposite. It didn't matter how strong I was. It didn't matter that I was quitting this and I was going through something tough and she could logically see it. In my mind, she deserved to cheat on me and leave me for all these guys. So in my mind, every single second of the day, that she wasn't texting me, she wasn't calling me, she was with every other guy. And these were the thoughts that went through my head for a month straight, almost every single day. And this almost broke our relationship. Because I thought to myself, okay, I've learned all these things from all these guys on the internet that if you're with a woman, she should never hang out with another guy. Even talking to another man is cheating. That's emotional cheating. That, of course, it's impossible for women to be friends with men. That's not how femininity and masculinity work. I remember calling her one time, shocked, almost in tears, and she asked, well, what's wrong, baby? Are you okay? And I said, look, I don't want to tell you what I'm thinking because it's dark. It's not good. And she was like, of course, tell me. I'm your woman. Tell me. That's what I'm here for. What do you mean that's what you're here for? You're here because I have money, because I give you emotional and physical and environmental security, because that's my job as a man. You can't be here just because you like me as a person. No way. So I told her all these thoughts that I was having. She understood. She was so understanding. But where I took it too far was I said, I don't want you hanging out with these guys. I don't want you posting these photos with other guys in the frame. She said, oh, how come? I was like, because all my friends are gonna see it. And if all my friends see that you are with other guys, I'm going against my word. That all my friends are gonna think I'm not with the right person. And she said, but these are the people I grew up with. I don't care if they're guys or girls. These are the people I knew since I was like 3 years old. I said, I understand, but if you respect me, if you truly respect me as a man, you wouldn't even think about talking to these guys. And she said, okay. And she deleted every single photo online with any one of her friends that wasn't a girl. And I thought in my mind, great. This is great. It is the masculine male job to train women to do our bidding. It is the masculine male job to make women submit to us. Oh, this is right. She is that feminine woman, and I am that masculine man. Everything's right. Until a week later, she told me that she thought it was ridiculous that I was trying to get her to stop talking to these friends that she knew since she was a kid. And immediately my soul took that as she didn't respect me, and she didn't care about me, and that she was hooking up with these guys. We gave each other an ultimatum, and I had to think to myself that if I couldn't handle this, then the infinite list of all the pros of us being together, how much she's done for me for my life, how much she makes me feel secure as a man and helps me get better every single day is not worth it. And I should just go find some bimbo who would never talk to a guy, because the grass is greener. So it took a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflection, and finally realizing that I was just battling a 7-year drug addiction to come to the conclusion that maybe the true essence of a man, that true masculinity, is not trying to control everything in your life. and that it's not believing everything that you see on the internet as your truth, as what happens to you. Because the only truth that you know is what's happening in your reality. And the biggest realization, it is easier to believe everybody else's experience as your own and going out and trying to live it yourself. And I'm so thankful that I learned that. Even though when I first came to that conclusion, I felt like a pussy. I felt like that maybe I am just a weak man thinking of this, and it took a lot of internal thought to realize that I have to come to my own conclusions. You have to come to your own conclusions based off your reality and looking at everything logically. And I'm so thankful that I came to that, and I came back the next conversation to my girlfriend with leaving my ego at the door, and instead of antagonizing and attacking her, of saying that she's a horrible woman for having male friends and she should ditch everybody in her life for me, because that's what Andrew Tate's girlfriends do. Maybe that's someone else's reality. And just to say things I love about her, about how she is my safety net. Sometimes I feel weak admitting it because society says a woman shouldn't be your safety net. That I enjoy coming to her after 10 hours of hard work and relaxing and having her give me that nurturing energy to go back into the world and feel powerful. That maybe spiritually, with all this work that I'm doing, I do need her in my life. And I'm happy about that. And you can take this from the principles of how to win friends, influence others, or any other holistic self-improvement, that humans starve of appreciation like they starve from food. And once you heard that, everything in our relationship changed. We started communicating more, we started opening up more, and I've never felt so comfortable being able to be honest with somebody. Sometimes you get to a point where it's kind of fun to be honest, because it's the hardest part. It is sometimes fun to step back from trying to control everything and see how life plays out, because the only thing you can truly control is your own shit. Because I know if I kept pushing and kept trying to control her, maybe she would have cheated on me, because no woman wants to be with a guy who is that insecure and won't work on it internally. Where the fuck do these insecurities come from? Why are we insecure? Our past traumas. There's this thing called attachment theory, and this is the basis of why you act certain ways with relationships, friendships, and just people in general. And the theory goes as this. From ages 0 to around 7 years old, before your brain develops a real strong conscious, everything is thought very subconsciously. So, how your primary caregivers, the people that were the closest in your life, how they gave you love will predetermine the best and the worst things that will come out of your attachment in the future. For example, if you had a family member give you a lot of love at certain times and then inconsistently take that love away, come back, whether they had a mental disorder or your father was always on the road and always coming back at certain times, or even if you had a parental figure pass away, this usually results in an anxious attachment style. Meaning, in your future relationships with people, you will be a lot more anxious going into them. Whenever there's some little disruption in the relationship, you will internalize and spin that into the relationship's not going well. This person doesn't love me, just like my parents didn't love me as a kid. Even though logically, they might have loved you, and they probably did. Another example is if you had a parent who was extremely abusive, you are so much more likely to go into your relationship in the future being the abuser. Why? Because your brain, even though you logically know being physically or mentally abusive is not how love should be, your brain, youngest self, internalizes that as that is what love is. You're gonna either give that out the most or subconsciously attract partners that do that the most to you. The next one is societal conditioning. So you hear from a lot of these male self-improvement channels about the blue pill conditioning, and I totally believe that. So the idea that Hollywood, that all these movie companies, that people online are selling you this fantasy of what masculinity is and isn't, they want to sell more tickets. And if they can sell the fantasy to you that you can just be a weak little nerd kid who doesn't bring anything to the world except good personality that women will fall for you, sometimes that's just absolutely not true. And I fell victim to this my whole life, thinking that I didn't need to be mentally strong, I didn't need to have success, as long as I was a good person. I deserved the highest quality, the most attractive, best women. And on that side of the spectrum, that's not how biology works. Women want to be with a very capable, strong man. I don't know any woman who doesn't want that. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be the 6'4" guy who's emotionally unavailable, and it means that you can never cry and that you can never go through your trials and tribulations. But I think all women want to be with a guy, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much he complains or life puts him down, no matter how long he stays down, he will always get the fuck back up. You've all heard of that. But the other side is the red pill conditioning, something that we don't talk about enough. And this is where self-improvement influencers are basically selling you the complete polar opposite of the blue pill Disney Channel fantasy to get views, to be more polarizing, to make money. And I know saying this, most people are gonna click off and be like, this is bullshit. The reason why maybe my channel might never hit the stride that some of these channels will hit, because I'm not willing to morally sacrifice some of my personal truths. So how it typically works, some guy gets hurt by a girl, they find all these red pill self-improvement YouTubers who tell them that it's because their value as a man is not enough. They as a man need to immediately get as big and strong as possible, make as much money, which is all great things, but they need to play all these games with the texts and online with these women. They need to have a rotation of girls going. As a man, you have to do everything yourself, and a woman is just an accessory in your life, and she provides no other value than just being there, being beautiful for sex, and that you gotta be so strong that you can make her submit, that you can control her to become the golden man in her eyes, the best man. But don't show her any sign of weakness. Don't let her see you huff and puff after a hard workout. When the depression feelings come back because you missed a couple days and sitting there thinking that you can't keep going. But not only will she leave, she should, because you deserve it, because you're a bitch. Now listen to how ridiculous that sounds. They're trying to sell you this other side fantasy to just buy you into their narrative, and basically when you're watching videos like this, you're basically stroking yourself. It's like porn for the masculine brain. It feels great to hear that we as men can become so strong that we'll have thousands of women bowing to us. But do you really want that? Or do you want to go out and find a woman who you're compatible with, who you guys have the same values, wants to build a life with you, who will keep you accountable and wants you to become a strong masculine man, but will never use your insecurities against you and shame you, and instead will teach you how to build back up and become better and stronger? And trust me, for so long in my life, I didn't believe there were people like this out there. I didn't believe it was possible. But I'm here to tell you that it is, that I believe this is what we as men should strive for. I'm not saying we should be weak and cry every day, but I'm saying that we should strive to find secure relationships. This is how to do it. Before step one, before any of these steps, get the fuck off social media. The reason that you're seeing all these super polarizing blue, red pill ideologies that are just gonna fuck with your head and not let you see what's actually in front of you, reality, and be in deep, real flow state in your life and presence, is social media. So if you don't do it as a job like me, get the fuck off. Step one, find a new partner. If you are a very insecure person, a lot of anxiety, you probably have an anxious attachment style, and you want to avoid an avoidant partner. What an avoidant partner is, this could be a woman who has been traumatized a different way in their childhood, and their response to love is trying to avoid it. When your response to being in love with someone and feeling insecure is to latch on and pull them in, their response is to push you away. And push you away because you suffocate them. Because it feels like for them that if you even reach out one time a day, it breaks down their guard and that you're too close to them. And if you're a little bit too close to them, you could get so close that when you do leave them and hurt them, it will hurt more than anything. This attachment style, we'll make a whole video about it, but it's one of the hardest to cure and to get over. It is possible, but if your partner is one of these people, I would really consider getting the fuck out. Next one, pull out that mental health journal. We're gonna do a pro and cons list. So you're literally gonna write about your relationship, about your girlfriend, wife, partner, fiance, every pro you can think of and every con you can think of, and be as honest as you can in this list and really flesh out why you're with them and why you could not be. What this is gonna do is let you finally get all those negative thoughts that you might have been having out onto paper and see that maybe some are true. Maybe they're also just ridiculous. And remind yourself of all the pros that this person brings into your life. Number two, values versus. Ask yourself, and you can journal this down, is it a value thing that you are disagreeing on? Like, for example, is it truly in my values that I want my woman to never talk to another guy? I want my woman to never drink, never go to a club, never go to a bar. It could be, and that's completely fine. And if it is in your true, honest values, that whatever your partner is doing that is making you feel insecure, you have your answer. And you know, maybe it is in your value to have your newlywed wife of 1 month do her first male-female scene with professional porn actor Jason Lyle. All right, I'm done. Number three, Get to the root. So set out an hour or two of a day. This will save you so much time and negative thoughts in the future to write all these negative thoughts that keep recurring about your partner. Two things you will find from this. One, you might see how ridiculous it is that the fact that your girlfriend's female friends have slept with more than one guy means that she doesn't have a good sense of judgment in friends, and that person is a whore, which means she's a whore too and she's gonna cheat on you. And the second thing is, if you do set up this time and you keep writing about that single thought that stings the most that you keep thinking of, you'll probably get down to the very root of where it stems from, that in your past childhood, maybe your mother cheated on your father, that you had a sister who was always involved with these terrible men and you couldn't help her. Maybe you see a similarity between her and your partner, and you also realize how ridiculous it is to impose it onto somebody else. Number 4, to change or not to change. You have to decide right now, you can write it down, if this is an insecurity that you want to get over. For me, I had to think deep. If my girlfriend has male friends, can I deal with everyone else on the internet possibly thinking I'm a cuck? And do I actually want to go through the rest of my life and say to my future children that I, at first, didn't want their mother to talk to other men? And I was like, yeah, it would sound pretty fucking stupid if I kept going down this insecure route. I do want to change it. If you have identified that this is a good partner, it is not a problem that has to deal with your core values. It is an insecurity that stems from some sort of event in the past. How it stemmed from me of seeing my ex-girlfriend having a male friend cheating on me with him. You must realize that if you go down the opposite reaction, you might get the same negative result. What I mean by that is, I think if I did continue to impose my control, maybe we would have broke up and I wouldn't have learned any lesson. And the next person I found could have been fine. The grass could have been greener. Or it would have the same thing reoccur. That insecurity might have came up in a different part of my life. It could have came up with a job that she worked, having a male boss. The insecurity could have grown more and festered more. The more I didn't want to work on it and the more I kept it hidden, might have driven so much negative energy that might have came off as, I don't care about this person, I don't care about this partner, and them not feeling that love, feeling that care. Maybe they would have gone out to seek it through somebody else. And inadvertently, I have made my partner cheat on me by being insecure about them trying to cheat on me. Therapist taught me that shit, bro. It's possible. And he's a fucking alpha Chad, man. This guy, Team Canada rugby guy, he's a fucking beast, bro. You should find a male therapist if you're a guy, one that you look up to who you think's a fucking killer. These like older gentlemen that have been through it through life will like look at you and tell you that all these things that you're listening to on the internet are fucking stupid and you should just go live life and live a good life. And also the biggest thing for me is I keep saying that I want to become the Giga Chad in all my videos, the version of myself that has let go of all the insecurities he cannot change and change all the insecurities that he can change. And there's no way in hell I'm gonna reach that by not trying to change. And I think that anyone can relate to that, is you want to be the best version of yourself. Number 5, when it comes to insecurities, the best way to change, the fastest, most efficient, is the hardest. And it's letting go of control, something that no man wants to hear. This will teach you one of the greatest lessons. You must come to the realization that whatever relationship insecurity that you are having with your partner, whether that is the thought of them going out and cheating on you behind your back, there's nothing you can do about it. And the only thing that you can control, the basis of masculine self-improvement, is the only thing you can control is yourself, your own thoughts, and your own actions. With that said, we have to go back to square one of mental health, of masculine self-improvement, and focus all of our attention on our purpose. And only when we do that, everything feels so much better. When I got back on track after the drug withdrawals and I started focusing on making these videos, I had no time to think about my girlfriend cheating on me. In fact, every time I came back to her, I was drained, I was tired from making these, and she was there as the loving support, and our relationship got so much stronger, so much better. A big reason of why I was insecure was because I didn't like parts of myself, because I knew I was lying to myself and not focusing on my purpose. I mean, how else would I have these hours a day to text her about all these problems? When you focus your passion, your life energy into your purpose, into the thing that you love, that you care about, that brings good, all these other things don't matter, because you build such a strong, confident pride in yourself as a man, and that resonates. And I think if you truly want to get over these insecurities, you do have to go back to the basics and build yourself up the best you can as a man. Build up your value, build up your status, build up your career, but build it up within your morals, within your values. And I'm so grateful I learned this lesson fast, or I would have probably gone through another heartbreak. I always preach to choose the path of the most resistance, to go past failure in your life, to pick the hardest path that leads to the most positive growth. And for me, it was a tough lesson to learn that the path to the most growth, the most positive, strongest path was letting go of control and fighting these insecurities head on. So whatever that path looks like to you, pick the path that you are the most uncomfortable with, so your future self will look back at you with pride. All right, let me know what topics you want next. Peace out.